Welcome to Tech Bytes 2023 in Review. I'm Lily Jamali. We're looking back at highlights from this year's shows, from deepfakes to fallen crypto kings to those 5 head-spinning days at the world's most famous AI company. We covered it all. Let's take a look.
Deepfakes is especially a pressing issue right now. We know that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer thinks that getting legislation specifically about this before the 2024 elections should be top priority, because one thing that Republicans and Democrats can agree on is that they don't want fake images or audio or video of themselves out there, especially in an election year. So we'll see what this committee can accomplish, and if Congress, more importantly, overall, can actually get some law on the books before next year.
I bought my first EV in August. I did a big piece on narrowing down the choices of which one I would buy. So I ended up buying or leasing a Ford Mustang Mach-E. And one of the big things I knew about buying a non-Tesla was that the charging infrastructure is much weaker. And that's something we're going to see addressed in 2024, as a lot of these companies have now partnered with Tesla to be able to charge at Tesla's network. So that's going to happen in 2024. I'll be able to charge my Ford at a Tesla. Rivian, GM, lots of companies have partnered. And so that is going to make it more palatable and more, I hope, for many people to want to consider getting an EV, because this infrastructure has been so poor. So I have been looking at this, and I've spent, honestly, so much time at non-Tesla EV stations in the last couple of weeks. I have a piece coming out soon that I can't believe I've made it to this podcast. I should literally just have a tent set up at charging stations.
The key thing to remember here is that Meta is basically explicitly telling political campaigns, politicians, that they are welcome to use generative AI in their ads. It's not like that for you and I when, as far as I know, you're not running for office. When we post something to Facebook or Instagram, we aren't allowed to use generative AI in a way that really manipulates, someone's words, puts words into someone's mouth, or creates sort of a false depiction of a real event. But Meta is saying that politicians can do that. They just have to hit a button when they're buying the ad that says, I'm doing this, so that users, when they see the ad, can sort of click on a button and see that AI was used to really manipulate the ad in a significant way.
If there's one entity that's benefiting a little bit more, it might even be Apple, because that revenue is super important to them. I mean, the fact that they're getting such a large cut of it, basically, Google is paying Apple to be the default search engine on all Apple devices. Apple had an executive come on earlier in the trial at EQ, and his argument was essentially that, Google it's the best search engine. So he didn't say this directly, but he implied like we would sort of use it anyway. But I don't know. I am questioning, is that really true insofar as Google is paying tens of billions of dollars to Apple? And for Apple, I mean, it's a big chunk of money. They're getting tens of billions of dollars. And if you assume that most of that is coming to Apple in the form of profit, I mean, it's a significant chunk of Apple's valuation.
Crypto has certainly fallen out of favor with many VCs that I know and have been talking to. For many VCs, we weren't able to invest in crypto companies because, depending on who our limited partners are, there's different regulations. And I think many of us who didn't get into investing in crypto are breathing a sigh of relief right now. And those that maybe did go all in crypto are maybe thinking twice about the decision making there. But it is unfortunate to see that there have been so many billions of dollars that have gone into these spaces and not great leadership on the part of the folks that are leading these major companies in this space. We're seeing that with $4.3 billion is what Binance has had to pay to the U.S. government. There's obviously a lot of dollars that are being pulled out of that exchange. So there's lots happening in this space. This was a very active week across the board in technology. And we'll watch and see what happens for the future of crypto.
It's the story that keeps on giving. When it comes to Microsoft, it's a good reminder that it is the biggest shareholder in OpenAI. It has more than a 49% stake in its profits. And when Sam Altman was originally removed, all eyes were on Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, asking, why didn't you know about this? And how are you going to make a change? It then led to him spending, working through the weekend, like a lot of us were, negotiating behind the scenes. And he was a big figure in getting Altman back, according to our reporting. When it comes to Microsoft's current role at OpenAI, last night we reported that they are going to have a non-voting observer seat on the board, which means, again, not voting. So it won't be able to vote on matters, but it will be privy to information, which is more than it had before. OpenAI is also looking to still hire more board members. And so far, a few people have been considered: Yahoo former CEO Marissa Mayer, Laureen Powell-Jobs. And so I do think things are still in flux, like you're saying. And Microsoft, we have at least some clarity. They will have some sort of perspective and eye on the board, which is more than we could have said a week ago.
Thanks for joining us for Tech Bytes 2023 in review. We'll be back with a new episode on January 5th. See you then. This is 8 p.m.